help my daughter loves horses. I'm Allie, this guy's Noah, and today is bath day. So it is finally warm enough to bathe him. And so we're gonna do a bath and I will show you sort of how to do it. And Patty, our barn manager here, has spoiled us and gotten us a nice little grooming attachment which goes on our hose. So not only do we have water, but we've got a little scrubby brush too. So the first thing is horses tend to be a little jumpy around water, especially spraying water. So you want to make sure that he's comfortable, and like I said before in our worming video, you may not want to clip him in. If he's going to freak and rear and pull, you don't want to be teaching a horse to do that in cross ties. So you might want to just have somebody hold him. Now, Noah's very good about this, and you'll see him wig out a little bit, but he'll stay still, and so we're sort of spoiled and can clip him in, but keep that in mind, that don't clip a horse that you don't know into cross ties and try this. You want someone to hold them instead. So the first thing you always do is you're going to start on the feet. So you don't just walk up and spray the horse because that's not very nice to him. So check the temperature of their water on your hand if you have temperature control. And then you're going to start on their feet, on their front legs, and just sort of soak their front legs. And then you'll start on their back legs, soak their back legs. And then you can sort of move up into the body. Another thing to remember is don't spray them in the face. Very few horses like sprayed water anywhere around their face. And you'll actually notice that they'll get their heads higher and higher as you get closer up their neck, just trying to avoid that water. So if you're going to do their face, use a little sponge like this and just sponge their face off. Don't spray them in the face. That's not very nice. So we'll have a little go. You can see me get them all wet, and then we'll talk about soaping. All right, good boy. Easy. I know. But it's warm, not cold. Good boy. Good man. That's a good boy. Oh, I know. Oh. Good man. That's a good boy. Oh, I know. I know. There we go. Oh, now it's really getting warm. Here you go. Okay, so now I'm going to go up his neck, and you can sort of see him get a little worried, but you want to keep it nice and close to their body. Don't be spraying it around. There's a good boy. Reassure them. If they get worried as you go up, just stop. Just keep an eye on them. See what they're comfortable with, and don't go any higher than they're comfortable with the water. Good boy, Noah. Good boy. So he's doing pretty good there. Okay, so now you're going to do all of this on the other side. Yep. Alright, so now that you've got him all wet, your horse is all covered, next step is the suds. So we've got a bucket of warm water here, which we've filled about halfway, and then we put maybe a quarter to half cup of shampoo in. And we just use human shampoo, so that works fine with him. They do make horse shampoos, but you want to dilute it in the water. And I have a nice big scrubby sponge. So you're just going to get your sponge all wet, and you're going to suds him up all over the places, all the places that you got him wet. And one thing to focus on is you want to get particularly any area where tat goes, and you want to focus on areas where he sweats. So good areas to spend a lot of time on are his chest, his legs, and then also down here between his hind legs. So when horses sweat, they get a lot of sweat in here. And you want to make sure that you're cleaning out, so you can sort of see here, right in here, you want to clean those out right in there, because when he gets sweaty and that's chafing and rubbing on him, that's not very comfortable, and he can actually get sores there. So get a little soap up in there, scrub up here, be nice and gentle with him, but you want to work on that. And then if you've got any areas where there's white, those are of course going to be the hardest to get clean, so they'll need a little extra scrubbing. And something else that I've learned, if you use a little bit of dilute dish soap and some water and sponge into that, that'll help get the white areas actually white, but don't use dish soap everywhere. So we'll get to work on him. Alright, so now that he's all sudsed up, you're going to rinse him off. And you want to make sure that you rinse him off until all the suds are gone. You don't want to be leaving suds in there. And something else that I want to point out when you're using a hose is watch where the hose is going. One, if you flail it around, it can spook a horse. And two, you don't want to wrap it around his feet. So you want to make sure that it's always clear where he's going. So we'll do the same thing as we did when we got him all wet to start with. Start with the legs, work your way up, and just keep rinsing him all over until he's nice and suds free. So, good man. Yeah, good boy. And always test the temperature of your water. Make sure you're not freezing or burning your horse. So the mane and tail need a little extra attention just because they're a lot harder to get wet and they need a little bit more scrubbing. So what you can do is you can get the tail wet. Good man. Same idea, start at the bottom just so you're not swooping him. And so once you get the whole tail wet, and you'll notice I'm standing to the side of him, not directly behind him. And once you get the tail wet, you can put a little bit of shampoo in your hand, and then just work it in like this. And you're going to work your whole way up the tail, making sure you can see all the dirt that's coming out of his tail. And you might need a little bit more shampoo as you go. One other thing to consider about bathing your horse is how often you should bathe them with shampoo. So horses need the oils in their skins to keep them healthy and to keep their coats healthy. So you don't want to be bathing them with shampoo very frequently. It's fine if you've got a big show coming up and they need to be all clean and looking their best. That's a good time to do it, but don't be washing them every day, definitely, and not even weekly. Sort of once a month's a good frequency, and less than that. I mean, we were just joking that he probably hasn't had a full bath in about 3 years. If he gets really sweaty, if your horse gets all worked up in a lesson or on a big ride, you can hose them off and just take some water, wash that sweat off. That's a good thing to do, but don't be using soap all that often. So, you want to also make sure you try to get all of that worked in nice and deeply, all along his tail, worked in to the hair. And then once you've got that all sudsed up, then the same idea, you're going to rinse it out. Easy, big guy. There we go. Good man. All right, so that's how you wash tail. And now if your horse has any mane, unlike Noah, you might have to do a similar thing where you spend some time working it in. With Noah, we can sort of just scrub it up a little bit, add a little bit extra of shampoo, and that's enough. Easy, big guy, good man, good boy. So you can see him looking at the hose. That's what I was saying about being careful with where you put the hose and yanking it around. So even though I've already gotten him all wet everywhere and he's used to this, I'm still going to start on his feet and work up just so that you don't surprise him. So it just lets him know where the water is, doesn't get him too worked up. Easy. Good man. Good boy. Good boy, what a man. Look at you being such a stud. Yes, you're such a stud. Look at you. Yes, you're a good boy. You're a good boy. Yes, you are. Get your little spa treatment. Yeah. So you might have to sort of run your fingers through it. Noah has almost no mane, so this is very easy. And again, when you're rinsing your mane out, make sure that you're not pointing it this way, because even if it's not spraying up here, but spraying up here, the water will bounce off and hit his head, and that's not going to make him very happy. So always spray down the neck. You can work it into the roots there. Make sure you get it all nice and clean. Yeah, there you go, big guy. How's that? How's that? All right, so same thing, starting low. So that's the mane and tail. And then the last thing that I want to point out before I finish rinsing all of the rest of Noah off is that if you don't have a fancy attachment like we're spoiled with, a regular hose with no attachment works fine, or you can use one of the garden attachments, just to control the spray that's got the little squeeze handle, but make sure you don't have it jetting out really strong. So either turn the water pressure down or put it on a rain setting. You don't want to be squirting really powerful water at your horse because it's not going to feel very comfortable on his skin. Imagine if you had a super high powered shower blasting into you all the time. And also it's more likely to make them jumpy if they've got something pounding on them versus a nice gentle rain. So I'm going to go ahead, rinse the rest of them off, and then we'll show you how to scrape a horse dry. Okay, so the next step is you never want to just throw a horse out wet like this. One, because all of your work will be instantly undone as he rolls quite happily and turns himself into one big mud puddle. And then two, also, if it's not blazingly hot out, that's a very dangerous way to turn your horse out. It makes it very easy for him to get chilled if there's any sort of wind. So the first step you do is you scrape your horse off. Easy, big guy. You're okay. You're okay. So there's two options. You have your little plastic horse squeegee with the rubber edge, which these are my preference, or they just have simple metal scrapers. And they work just like a squeegee for a window. So you're going to actually go in the direction of the horse's hair. You're going to start at the top and work your way down. And you just pull all of the excess water right off. Yeah, you're a good boy. And you're going to do this all along him. You want to be, especially if you have the metal ones, careful about the legs. But what you can do is just run your hands in a circle right down their leg. And that works pretty much just as well as the squeegee will on the rest of their body. And the other reason you want to work from the top down is if you start at the belly and work up, all the water you squeegee off the top is just going to run right back into the area where you've squeegeed. So you start on the top, just work your way all the way down. Alright, so once you have scraped your horse off, you've gotten all the extra water off, a nice last step is to just towel him down, and that can just sort of give him another head start in getting dried. And then once you've toweled him all off, you can just take him onto the side, maybe let him graze for a little bit, and finish drying off. So with this, again, if you've got a jumpy horse, waving a towel around might get him worried, so you might want to introduce it to him. Say, yep, this is a towel, sort of let them get used to it, and then when they're fine, sort of move in. And then just circular motions like a curry comb all the way over their body. Good boy.
It really is a good idea to make sure that your horse is completely dry before you put him back in your pasture. Wet horses have a tendency of always wanting to roll, and they usually find mud. And once he's dry, that's it. You're done. You've got a clean horse. Thanks for watching this video. Help My Daughter Loves Horses. Check out our website for more.